Okay, so here we are. This is our monthly mindfulness and meditation session, and this is an opportunity for us once a month to check out of life's busyness and check in here for a few minutes with ourselves, with each other, maybe learn a few tips and tools in the space of holistic well-being, where we're taking care of both the mind and the body, and if you're inclined, the spirit as well. And then we meditate for a few minutes, really enjoy some of that silence and focused awareness. And I am so happy you are here. It's an honor for me to be with you each month here as well. And so today's topic is the art of grounding. So we'll talk a little bit about what it is, why it's important to practice it, and I'll share a few techniques, and then we'll end with a body scan meditation, which is a really good grounding technique for us. So when we talk about what grounding is, it's not hugging trees or, becoming one with earth, so to speak, although a technique called earthing is a good one. But grounding is really just simply the practice of bringing our attention back into the body so that we can feel steady and present. So it's getting out of our head and back into right now. And usually we do that by focusing on our body or using our senses. And there are a variety of techniques we can use. The body is a doorway to the present. It's an instrument of awareness for us, offering a direct experience outside the mind. And then we can connect with it regularly. At its core, grounding works because it shifts us from thinking into sensing, which helps our nervous system calm down and feel more steady. Sometimes our nervous system gets stuck in overdrive, particularly when we're stressed or overwhelmed. Our brain shifts into kind of a state of alarm, and our body follows by releasing stress hormones and keeping us in that state of high alert. And so grounding interrupts that for us. So we can think of our body like a conductor of energy. I'm in the telecommunications industry and I like these analogies in terms of energy and light. But throughout the day, stress and thoughts and stimulation build up like an excess charge for us. And grounding helps us release that buildup so our system can reset, stabilize, and function more smoothly. And right now, grounding practices matter more than ever. With all the craziness that's going on in the world, how quickly things seem to be moving for us, the transitions we all might be going through, grounding is not a luxury, but rather it's a stabilizing skill that we can develop in a world that is constantly pulling our attention all over and setting off our internal alarm bells. And here are a few reasons why grounding matters. So, most of us are living in a constant state of low level stress. Even if nothing feels wrong, our nervous system is often subtly activated, whether it's through notifications we're receiving that are constant due to the uncertainty, perhaps, or again, this kind of mode that we feel we have to make this fast decision making. This keeps us hovering in a mild state of fight or flight, and grounding interrupts that pattern and shifts us back into the body where the nervous system can regulate and settle. Now, most people, or many of us at times, are living from the neck up. So I felt this literally myself at times where I feel disconnected from my body when my mind is in a state of overdrive. And maybe you have felt that for yourself. Like, where literally I feel like I'm just a big head walking around and I really am not connected to this body. And a lot of modern life happens in the mind where we're thinking and analyzing and reacting, but the body is where signals of stress, intuition, and regulation regulation actually live. And grounding reconnects us to those signals and again shifts us from overthinking to sensing, which is where clarity often emerges. And grounding also builds real time resilience for us. So it isn't just something that we should do when things fall apart. Absolutely, these techniques can and should be used when we find ourselves in a state of anxiety or overwhelm, but it's also especially important to do it when we're outside of those states because that's what's going to help us to not fall apart in the first place. So when practiced regularly, these kind of techniques or grounding trains our system to return to center more quickly after stress and actually can help us, perhaps not activate that alarm bell as often. And this has happened to me time and time again, like dealing with difficult work situations. I think some of you know that, I have a pretty stressful job. I deal with difficult work situations on a daily basis. But what I've found is that when those situations arise, say perhaps a pretty strong disagreement with a supervisor, I find that that doesn't linger as long as it used to for me. I might be able to get over that, so to speak, in, an hour or two, whereas before it has been days where that has kind of lingered for me. The same holds true with a relationship conflicts or even maybe losses that I've encountered. Again, they don't linger, if you will, as long. So that's resilience in action. It's not about avoiding these types of situations, but rather recovering faster and with more steadiness. So whether it's work demands or personal transitions or even broader uncertainty, our environment is dynamic and grounding gives us something stable within that movement. It's like having an internal anchor that we can stay steady even when things around us seem to be shifting. So I'm going to share with you a few grounding techniques, and these are things that I practice myself. And I often don't share things that don't work, right? I'm sharing what I know to have worked for myself. And so I teach and I guide others to develop a personalized, what I call micro self-care practice, using a well-being toolkit filled with techniques that help you restore mind, body, and spiritual balance and strengthen that resilience. Now, what we need and what feels good is different for each of us. And so my goal is to introduce a variety of techniques in these sessions that, again, have worked for me so that you can give them a try, see how you feel, and then add them to your own toolkit or not. If they don't feel good, you put that aside and move on to the next one. And then we commit to tapping into that on a daily basis, even just for a few minutes. So the way I've been able to incorporate this into my daily life is I sacrificed a little bit of sleep. So I wake up earlier in the morning, at least by 30 minutes, and sometimes it's longer, so that I can get some of these practices in before the day gets away from me. And then there are other times where I will do these kind of techniques in periods where I'm waiting or things that I'm already doing in my day. And again, that's what's worked best for me. Some folks actually feel maybe a bit later in the day is better. So again, carve just a few minutes out for you that work best in your day. And here are 6 grounding techniques. Again, I use regularly. If you're interested, I invite you to learn more about them and maybe try them for yourself. So the first one is slow, intentional breathing. So in our prior sessions here, we've tried a few techniques that signal the body to relax, and they are proven scientifically to work. And perhaps you have even felt this yourself if you've tried some of these. So we've talked about breath techniques like 4-7-8. That's where we're breathing in for a certain count. 4, we're holding for a count, maybe it's 7, and then exhaling for 8. And there are different variations of that breathing exercise out there, like 4-2-6 or 4-4-6, or right. So there's different varieties there, all with the same intention. We talked about box breathing, we talked about ocean breath. I think we did alternate nostril breathing. So any of those are grounding for us and just take a few cycles to settle the body and mind. And when it comes to grounding in particular, one thing we can add to those breathing techniques when we're doing it to really get in touch and reconnect with the body is putting one hand on our chest or our heart center and the other on the belly to really emphasize that grounding sensation. The next technique is self massage, or what's called Abhyanga in yoga. And so, self massage with an oil like sesame or coconut, done from literally head to toes, is one of the most powerful grounding practices in the system of Ayurveda, which is the sister science to yoga. And I do Abhyanga most every single day. And that warmth, the pressure and that steady touch all over your body signals safety to the nervous system and helps us bring awareness back into the body. It also settles the energy and helps us to feel more anchored. Not to mention that your skin is especially moisturized. So in a dry climate like we have in here in Colorado, it's especially good for helping us to balance that dryness. Another technique, I mentioned this one at the beginning, is earthing. So this is just walking barefoot on grass, sand, or soil, or sitting in it or lying on the ground. Now, this sounds silly, but the earth actually carries a natural electrical charge, and so do we. And so when we connect with that, it helps us to reduce inflammation, support better sleep, and helps to calm the nervous system. It also has a sensory nervous system effect for us. Being outside and engaging our senses and slowing down helps us to feel calmer, more connected, and less stuck in our heads. And so sometimes I'll just walk out into the backyard or front yard barefoot just for a few minutes. Or if I'm walking in a park, I might kick my shoes off and just walk through the grass for a few minutes. And it feels really, really good. The next technique involves cold water. So, cold, if you know, can quickly interrupt stress and bring us back into our body. And we often have to focus on something like the breath to be able to sustain that cold. But again, this is a technique that I tap into regularly. So, whether it's splashing cold water on our face, or dipping maybe our face in a bowl of ice water, or even just holding ice can, again, very quickly ground us. One other tool or technique that I do almost on a daily basis is a one, maybe two, although that's a little harder, minutes of a cold shower. I usually do that at the end of my shower. I'll flip it on cold. And I do that especially in the summer when times are hot because it's good for inflammation, reducing that in our body and helping us reduce body heat. I'm not sure if anybody's heard of Wim Hof. But he is a Dutch extreme athlete known for promoting cold exposure, breath work, and mental resilience. And he is a big believer in that cold water exposure and its ability to strengthen the body and the mind by reducing inflammation again, boosting resilience, and helping to regulate that nervous system, which is really dictating a lot of what's happening for us. The next one is called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. And this is used often for folks that find themselves in a state of anxiety, like an anxiety attack. It is very effective for pulling the mind into the present through anchoring in the senses. And then the way that it works is we name out loud 5 things that we can see. And we name those things. We maybe even, name their characteristics. Then we name 4 things that we can feel, whether that's picking something up or whether that's, feeling the clothing on your body, maybe, the carpet under your feet, whatever. So 4 things you can feel, and then we move on to 3 things that we can hear. So just settling in, listening to what you hear, and naming three of those things. Then we move on to two things we can smell. This might be a little bit harder. We might have to pick something up, like a candle, or maybe smell our clothes. And then one thing that we can taste. That one might be hard too. So if we find we're struggling to taste something in our mouth, we can just simply think of something that we are grateful for. And so naming five things we see, four things we feel, three things we hear, two things we smell, and one thing we can taste or be grateful for helps to bring our attention back into the present moment. And the last technique, which is one of my favorites, is this body scan. So it's about getting still, bringing awareness to each part of our body, and then moving slowly on to the next part and move all the way through. And then this again shifts us from thinking into sensing because we're really focused on every part of the body. So we're going to give that a try now if you're ready. So we'll go ahead and move into our body scan meditation. So inviting you to get comfortable. Now, I also do this often, probably more often lying down than sitting, but you can do it either way. So assuming that you may be sitting here, place your feet on the floor, gently close down your eyes. You can rest your hands gently on your legs, or you can just cup them in your lap. Again, whatever is comfortable. And now taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Again, filling up the lungs with air. Sinking deeper into your seat as you gently ground down into this moment. You have nowhere else to be. Just be here with your breath as you take a deep breath in and breath out, letting the air enter and leave your body as you sink deeper into your seat. Your body's becoming heavy and relaxed. Now bringing your attention to just above the top of your head, just hovering there above your scalp. Bring your attention now into your scalp, your forehead, and your temples. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Bringing your awareness to your ears, your eyebrows, your eyes, your eye sockets. Taking a deep breath in, a deep breath out as the corner of your eyes gently smile. Bringing your attention now to your nose, down towards the tip of your nose. Just watching the air as it goes in and flows out of your nostrils. Bringing your attention to your cheeks, your jaw, and your tongue. Just resting heavy there in your mouth. Bring your attention now to your lips and your chin. You may notice different body sensations here in your head. Whatever you are thinking or feeling, just noticing it and letting it go. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, sinking deeper into your chair and letting any tension drift away. Bring your attention now to your throat, the back of your neck, the sides of your neck, and the tops of your shoulders. We tend to hold tension, myself included, in this area of our body. Just noticing any sensations here, sinking into these areas and letting them soften while you breathe out. If your mind has wandered off, that's okay. Just gently smiling and bringing your attention back now towards your arms, circling down your arms towards your elbows, noticing your forearms, your wrists, your palms and your fingers. Just gently scanning from the base of your fingers all the way up to your fingertips. Noticing any sensations you may have here on your skin. Now bring your awareness to your back, your shoulder blades, the middle of your back and your lower back. This is another area where we hold heat or tension in the body. If you feel any tension, strain, or other sensations here, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out and letting any tension drift away. Bringing your attention now to your chest, taking a moment to observe the air enter and leave your lungs. Bringing your awareness now to your stomach, just noticing it as it rises and falls with the breath. Your stomach is an area where we can hold stress or anxiety. Just noticing what you're feeling here and being okay with that and letting it go. Bring your attention now to your pelvis and your hips as they sink deeper and heavier into your chair. Your body is becoming more relaxed with every breath. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now scanning your legs from the tops of your thighs down towards your knees, your shins, and your calves. Just noticing what is here. Are there any feelings or sensations? Noticing what they are and letting them go. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Making your legs to be heavy and relaxed. Bringing your attention now down towards your ankles, your feet, the heels, the soles of your feet and your toes. Just noticing what is here, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out, getting into a state of calmness. Now, just taking the next few moments to notice how relaxed your body feels. Feeling all the way from your head through to your toes. And gently just start bringing your attention back into the entire body. Maybe you feel the sensation of your feet on the floor, your hands resting in your lap, starting to notice any sounds, gently wiggling your toes and your fingers. And when you're ready, you can even ever so slowly open up your eyes, just taking a few seconds before we re-engage here, noticing how you feel compared to how you felt when you first sat down to scan through your body. And hoping that you take this peaceful state with you through your day. Okay. So, grounding isn't something we achieve. It's something that we return to again and again in small moments that start to change everything for us. And over the years and doing these type of micro practices, again, it just takes a few minutes of these things, but doing them consistently, I've seen shifts in myself, like feeling calmer in stressful moments, thinking more clearly instead of reacting automatically, being more present in my body and surroundings, and responding to life with greater resilience, steadiness, and intention rather than overwhelm. And so, if you're wanting to feel more grounded, I invite you to start by trying one of these practices when you feel a little off. And just as importantly, weave it into your day in small, consistent moments so it becomes a steady habit you can rely on. So thank you for joining this session. I will look forward to seeing you all next time.